Have you ever looked at old portrait photos and noticed that the subjects rarely smile? It can be quite striking to see the difference between then and now, where smiling in photos is the norm. But why is this the case? In this video, we'll take a look at the history of photography and the cultural traditions surrounding portraiture, to try to understand why people didn't smile in front of the camera. One of the main reasons is that photography used to be a much more time-consuming process. The first cameras were not as quick and easy to use as the cameras we have today. It could take up to 20 minutes for a single photo to be exposed, which meant that the subject had to sit still for an extended period of time. Any movement during this time would cause the photo to be blurry and the subject to be out of focus. So, it was much easier for the subject to simply sit still with a relaxed face, rather than trying to hold a smile for 20 minutes. However, this wasn't the only reason. As camera technology improved, exposure times decreased, and by 1900, cameras had become quite advanced. But even then, people still didn't smile in photos. One reason could be that having a portrait taken was considered a special occasion, whether it was to commemorate a birthday, achievement, or celebration. The tradition of taking a portrait to document a person's existence was passed on even when cameras came into play. Another reason could be the Victorian tradition of photographing the deceased. In Victorian times, it became increasingly popular to photograph the dead. This was because photos were seen as a way to capture a frozen presentation of a person. Once a loved one passed away, they would be dressed in black and positioned upright to be photographed. This was somewhat of a documentation process and was seen as a passage to immortality. Additionally, in the Victorian and Edwardian eras, smiling was considered inappropriate and a lower-class action. Being serious and keeping a straight face was believed to be the most powerful and elegant facial expression. Although there is no way to prove this theory, historical texts and documents support this idea. So, there are a variety of reasons why people didn't smile in old portrait photos. Technical hindrances, cultural traditions, and societal ideals all played a role in shaping the way people posed for portraits. It's interesting to see how much things have changed, but it's also important to remember that the way we take and view photos is shaped by the society we live in. What do you think? Are you surprised by the history of smiling in photos? Do you think smiling is an important part of photography today? Share your thoughts in the comments.